All right, greetings, family, friends, and the world. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. How is everyone doing on this beautiful night? I say good evening, good night, good night, good night is I guess what I meant to say. Um, Yesterday, which was Sunday, tonight is the night after Sunday, which is which was October 26, 2025. That's October 26, 2025. And this is Fight Fire with Truth. This is Fight Fire with Truth. And tonight we're going to be speaking on the life of Mikael, question and answer part. This will be part um, 11 and 12, but this is part one, but it's 11 and 12 of all the time that I've shared. I did a lot of sharing about information off and on, and it's been a little mix up throughout information between me leaving Detroit, going to Germany, from Germany to Mississippi. Actually, I'm at the point between Mississippi and going into Atlanta at this point in time. So a lot of stuff I missed out because I just been doing a lot of, I've been noticing I'm just doing a lot of talking and conversating, but just trying to remember a lot of things that I went through as well. But before we get started, let me start off with the prayer, and I'd like to thank G1 for being in. Actually the one who actually kind of talked about memoirs of my past up until today, up until the point where we're at now. He's one to kind of share with me that about sharing my memoirs of what has happened between me going through my spiritual awakening, me leaving Detroit and coming back home. And it's a lot that's missing, y'all. It's a lot that's missing that I'm trying to fathom and remember going through my mind. But I mostly been talking more about the switch from, well, let me say the prayer first and then go to what I'm talking about. As we start off, blessed be thou, Father of the universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Blessed be thou, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father of 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so we can help lead and guide others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. We ask you to keep us in every way, help us in every way, and allow us to know and understand what it is you will have us to do in this day and time. We ask you to forgive us of any sins that we have done in time past, today's time, and time to come. We ask you to help us in every way and let us acknowledge our sins that we have done and ask for forgiveness of the things we have done as well. We ask you to help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. In all these things we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Thank you, Father. Say again, Mike. Say again. Who? You need the love. You need the love, right? That's right. We all need the love. So other than that, greetings, everyone. Malcolm Bowles, how you doing, my brother? I haven't seen you in quite some time. We got is that OT40505 over here on Instagram. Greetings, good to see you here. But other than that, this is the life of Mikael, which is myself. And last week, I think I remember just sharing information when I was in at Mississippi when after being there for quite some time. I think I shared. I think I shared one of the prophecies that has happened that was given to me in a vision. One of the visions. There's been a lot of things I can share. I don't know if I should share them here, but um, another one. I don't know if I shared this one. I shared the one about uh, the first thing that this prophet told me in the dream was God got big plans for you. And I didn't share the last point of it, but a point of the last, she said, in between in the dream, she's in the vision, she said, God got big, she said, three bad things gonna happen, something good gonna happen. I shared all that. I believe I shared that last week as well. Um, a lot of those things has happened in that vision. The first thing she told me is happening now. The last thing that she told me was the first thing that I did. And that was at that time. From there, I was there when the 9/11 happened. Uh, I told about my cousin Butch. He stayed with me 3 times there. He was the one that was with me. He was actually the one who cut my hair as well after I had the dream. What else may have happened? It's so much that has happened. I learned a great deal of information. Went through ordeals there. Made a lot of friends there. Made friends that was more like, in a sense, it was more like frenemies in a sense. Friends, but some was frenemies because it's just that, like I said, I'm that person that people love to hate. I'm easy to love. Yes, son. So, all right, Junior. All right. So, it was just a lot of situations I went through there. I was at the House of Israel, was there for 8 to 10 years. From there, left from there, went to Shalom, and was there for a few years. There's where I met Junior's mother through one of my close friends, which is Brother Page. And I was sharing it with 5 of us that stood together. I was more like always been the thumb, the person that always stood out in my own way. And there was just a lot of information, and a lot of that would be with friends to share that would come out as well. More information that would come out from the things that happened there. Uh, got with Tish, which was Junior, which is my youngest daughter and my youngest son's mother. I shared about them being born. They had to have heart murmur surgery, both of them being born with the George syndrome. Oh, man, there's so much other stuff that I can say, and it's like vague. Um, that I can share, but I'm just trying to remember everything in the forefront of my mind at the moment. And there's a lot I can bring out behind the scene. But right now, uh, uh, that was my mother, stepfather, and 3 of my siblings had moved back in '82 when I was still in Detroit. They moved to Mississippi. Hmm. I'm just mostly on the spiritual path, mostly. So, like I said, a lot of things happen. End up going to Shalom. I shared that in last week's information as well, 9 and 10. Me, Cephas, and Willie Sterling went to Shalom, ended up going to Shalom after a certain mix-up. Let me share this point of view. Certain mix-up happened. This brother named Eric, this brother named Eric, and Cephas, which is been Israel. We was looking for a place, like to have uh, a a place that we can make like a community center. We was looking for a place that we can have a community center, and it was this other brother named Shepaniah, not Zephaniah, but I didn't get his name was Shebaniah. He was a young brother, you know. But as I said, me, Eric, Cephas, and Shevaniah, I had my own place at this time. Um, we was looking for a place to have like a community center, for the community and for to help build with the knowledge we knew that Brother Divine was sharing. Because as far as we knew, Brother Divine knew the truth, right? And this just coming to me. Just remember about the reason why we end up leaving the house of Israel. And I didn't share all this before, but I'm going to share this point today. So we end up finding a little place that was for rent. So me, Eric, and Cephas and Chef and I, we was there. We was looking at this place. And it was not too far, right down the street from my home where I was staying there on Booker Street, um, in Jackson, Mississippi, from where I was staying at. And so we looked at it. We was talking about, we already been talking about trying to find something. And next thing you know, this brother named Shebaniah, right? He went back and told Brother Divine and HOI, I think M MIT, Minister in Training, MIT Ministers in Training. He went back and told them we was trying to make our own. We were trying to find our own place to make our own place of worship. He went back there and told them that. That wasn't, we already had said what we was talking about doing. We was trying to find a place where, we can make business and something to do business out of, you know what I'm saying? And no, we was loyal to the house of Israel, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we knew the truth was at, as far as we knew, because we learned the Bible there. So this brother named Shebaniah went back and told Brother Divine in the MIT. Guess he was trying to get under the, trying to get close to, I don't know what it was. But he went back and told them we was trying to get our own place. So they had like a little meeting with us, right? They said, so y'all trying to get your own place to have your own and we was like, what? He said, y'all trying to get your own place to have a worship at and stuff like that. I'm like, we like, what are he talking about? And instead of him understanding what we were saying, he was actually going with what they were saying. And we sat down. We had like, man, number one is we're men first. All of us, we was young men, but we was men. So we speaking on behalf of what we knew and what we were doing and trying to do and trying to get started. Because we trying to have a business of our own. We trying to make sure we have a business, but it wasn't excluding from the place of worship. It was just making a business, trying to make something happen, right? So they call themselves schooling us or sitting down scolding us or whatever. And me and Steve, we was like, we know we not, if me, Steve, and Eric, we stood our own, stood our own ground. And we call old boy a lie. We knew that he was right then. We didn't even deal with him no more. You know what I'm saying? With that dude, in a sense, we just kind of like distanced ourselves from. But it was the way that things happened, the way he went back and lied, and we really was going to surprise Brother Divine on the situation. But it was just something we were just trying to do, to trying to build, to make something happen, But he made it look like we was trying to go and make our own place of worship and get people in. That was nowhere in our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So that was really the beginning of my and our separation from the house of Israel. That was the beginning. That was the really started everything. So um I don't know if I should go deep into this because of what all happened, because whatever happened happened. But I remember it started getting to the point where now it was already a slight division, but really division started that really kind of grew in there, kind of like Saul and David. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that. Yeah, in a sense, it was kind of like the Saul and David situation. Innocent on one end and jealousy on another, you could say, or what have you. But the point is that you can't make nobody think no other than the way they think. If a person thinks something, that's the way they think. You can't change it. You can just give them your point of view, tell them what it is that you know or what it is that you stand on. But if a person thinks the way they think, ain't nothing you can do about it. So it got to the point at this point in time. Okay, Joe, Miss Joe. So at this point in time now, it gets to the point now is one time I may have shared this, but I don't know if I shared it last week or not. So now we're getting to the point we're still coming there and to the house of Israel, but like I said, it's a distance like happening now. So, and this, like I said, this is becoming to the point of near the end of us separating me, Fred, and me and Cephas and Willie separating ourselves. But what happened was this: I happened to go on a Wednesday night and I had ended up seeing something in the Bible about the calendar. I'm trying to understand about the calendar now. So I asked a certain question, and me and Cephas had ran. Me and Cephas, we was like, in a sense, kind of recruiting. We was talking to people and telling them to come on down, trying to get people to come to, to learn more truth than what we've been taught in the Bible about through the scriptures according to what the world teach or what the world teach, right? So we end up inviting his sister to come to Bible study. I think it was on a Wednesday night. I got there late. Cephas had got her there. Now, Brother Vine and all them, they didn't know that me and Cephas invited the woman there. Cephas was there with her. By the time I got there late. So I get there, and everybody there. Now, she had to get her because I think she had to go to class or had to go. She was working at Jackson State at the time. So she had to leave, but before she left, I was asking a question after I got there. Like I said, I was asking about the calendar at this time. Remember, it was about the calendar. So I asked a question about the calendar, and I also understood how people can take your question, change your question, make your question their question, and answer their own question, but seem like they answered your question. I come to understand that at this time. So now, what happened was I asked a question about the calendar and when did the calendar change or how did it change or what have you. And that ended up happening. He ended up answering the question a certain type of way. And but the woman, she had to leave. But I wanted to know the question. He said, if you want to know something, just ask. Like I always say, if you want to know something, just ask. So he answered the question in the way he wanted to answer, but he didn't answer the question the way I asked it. So I asked him again. I said, "Yeah, but that's not the way I asked the question like this." And she ended up she left. I don't know if it was because of the question I asked or whatever, but she ended up leaving. And I ended up snapping. I'm gonna tell you what ended up happening. I snapped because, like I said, I've been under the way things have been going. I've been going under a lot of pressure with a lot of certain situations there, right? So what ended up happening was this. So um, I asked the question again, and I think the lady left from what my remembrance how it went. So I remember I'm sitting down. So he came back there and he got over here and he started saying what he was saying to me, whatever. And I don't know what he said or what how it went, but I remember snapping. I stood up and I was going, I just asked a question. I stood up and I was snapped. I snapped. I snapped. I didn't realize it. But this brother named David, he was Mike, Mike. Mike, and I was going off. I forgot how it went, but I was going off. He said, Mike, Mike, Mike. He shook me. I said, what? And then when I got off, I seen Brother Vine, like, he backed up like that, like his eyes got big, but I snapped. And like I said, David, he was there. Mike, I said, what? You know, so I didn't know if his quote unquote MITs or whatever was standing around, whatever. So I ended up leaving. I don't know if it was getting ready to be something or not, but I always been able to hold my own. But I didn't know if it was getting ready to be something or not. But I ended up leaving. But after then, he wouldn't answer my questions. So now I'm sitting in the back. Now I come to the Sabbath. I'm getting up. Uh, so he asked questions because like I said, I started getting good when it came to when he asked questions. I was getting good at it. I don't know if I shared with I think I shared with y'all already about the question about the reason why. And if I didn't share, this happened earlier on before I get to this point when I really started learning the Bible. I'm gonna tell you this story. I don't know if I told you this already, but if I didn't, just so you don't miss it. It was like a high holy day, right? And this is I don't know what year this was. It was like 88, no, not 88. 90, 98, 99, could have been 2000, around that time. But it was a high holy day. I think it was around Day of Atonement. I believe it was around that time. Don't know. Don't know. It was around one of the high holy days. But the place was full, it was packed. So everybody, he asked a question about why did the creator make Aaron the head over the priesthood? Why did the Creator make Aaron the head over the priesthood? Um, Aaron the head of the priesthood, though Aaron went against and made the statue at the time when Moses went up into the mountain, right? So I remember that was the question. I remember this clear as day. That was the question. Why did he make Aaron? He said Aaron was weak as sweetened water. That's what you always say. Aaron was weak as sweetened water. So why did he make Aaron the head over the priesthood? And I'm doing just like I'm doing now. And it hit me. So everybody was raising their hand, right? Like I said, this is during Sabbath school. And I told you I loved Sabbath school, right? You learned a lot in Sabbath school. So, so at this time, he asked that question. And this was just going around. This is going around according to like we were there and this is what we was on at the time, whatever however it came up. So, so when he asked the question, everybody raised their hand. Everybody raised their hand. So he said, "Okay, I'm gonna let you answer. You answer. You answer." Then he went to Bishop Smith, and then Mikael, this other. He was I don't know if a preacher or a bishop or what have you, but his name was Mikael Bishop Smith. And then he got me last, right? So he gonna get me last. I said, okay. So, um, so oh, that's a good one right here. That point though. So when he made his when he where we at? I just seen it a few not too long ago. So when he asked the question, well, why did the creator make Aaron the head over the priesthood? Right? And everybody's raising their hand. Everybody came and said, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. This is all the people that every time somebody he said, nope, that's not the answer. Nope, that's not it. That's what he kept telling everybody, right? Say, nope, that's not it. I think it was in six, I believe, because I ran across it a couple of days ago. Nope, that's not it. That's what he kept telling them. So, no, it's not this far up. Then when he got to me, I said, I got it. He said, Mikhail thinks he got it. I said, nope, I got it. I know the answer. Right? So I'm surprised I ain't coming right up on it right now because I'm gonna tell you. But what it was is it was the budding of Aaron's rod. It was the budding of Aaron's rod, right? I thought I remember. Mm, thought I had just saw it last week or a few days ago. I didn't. Well, I guess I'll come up on it later. But the budding of Aaron's rod. And when I read it, right? When I read it, I broke it down. I said, this is the reason why Aaron was over. This is the reason why Aaron was over. Aaron was over because he put his name on Aaron on the tribe of Levi. On the tribe of Levi. And he was over the Levites at this time when they came out the dang, where is it at? I've seen it, and it's just not in my face right now. It's in Numbers. I just saw it. I thought I saw it a few days ago, but I guess I ain't. I guess it's not coming up right now. I know I saw it. But the point that I'm getting at is it was the budding of Aaron's rod. And when it said, and when I read it, he said, when I read it, he said, why did he I think I'm close. Yeah, go right there. Chapter 17, Aaron's rod. Right there. Numbers chapter 17. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel. Verse 3 says, I'm just going to jump down there. And thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi. That was the answer. And Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi. One rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers. And this was Aaron's rod. And then over here, 18, it said, and it came to pass that on verse 8, shall I say. Number 17 and 8 says, and it came to pass that on the morrow, which is the next day, Moses went into the tabernacle of witness. And behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded and brought forth buds and bloomed blossoms and yielded almonds. I said that's the reason why Aaron was over the Levites, and the Levites was the priestly tribe. Because of that right there in Numbers chapter 17. Then he said, then Brother Vine said, well, why did he make Moses? And first thing in my mind was to say, well, that wasn't the question you answered, but I didn't do that because I thought it would have been disrespectful to Brother Divine. So that happened earlier on. And in the time of earlier on, it was a sister there. I forgot her name. When brother, when brother Ricky, his name is Ricky Jackson, but now he calls himself Jehozadak, brother Jehozadak, and he's actually over the house of Israel now because Brother Divine has passed on. But he's over the house of Israel now not in Jackson, Mississippi. I forgot. He's in Mississippi now, but he has the house of Israel on Facebook. Excuse me, I think he have a picture of the Brother Divine and a lot of MITs with him on Facebook with him. But the key that I'm getting at is this: is that when he said, well, why did he make Moses that? And I started to say, well, that wasn't the question you asked, but I'd have felt like that would have been disrespectful, you know. But like I said, it was a lot of controversy that I had started going through, and this was the last that I was just sharing with you before I got on that right there about the situation about me raising my hand. He wouldn't call on me after I snapped on the Wednesday night when I'm asking a question. And he said, man, you coming here with all these this and that. Now, I remember that's how he started off on me. With all these stupid questions and this and that. And when I said, boy, I snapped. I snapped. So when I snapped, you know, like I said, that was the beginning of the end. Really, the beginning of the end was when me, Cephas, Eric, and Zephaniah, which lied on us, saying we trying to beg our own temple. He went and lied and said that. But that was one point when I just shared with you with this, when the sister, I forgot her name, when a lot of time I started raising my hand when I was answering a lot of questions. And brother Jehozadak was sitting in the back, Ricky Jackson. Ricky Jackson was sitting in the back and he would answer a lot of questions. I think he had a Smith Bible dictionary back in the back or whatever, but he would answer a lot of questions. If we wouldn't get it before the day was over, he would end up answering the question that never got answered because he was sitting back and he always shared information. But I was starting to pop on answers when it came to the scriptures. So the button of Aaron's rod is the reason why Levi was the head of the priesthood, and Aaron was over them because Aaron was he was the man in under Moses at that time. So the Creator made Aaron the head and high priest, and the tribe of Levi the priestly tribe over the 12 tribes. So and I said that's what happened. But then he said, and then what tripped me out is that right after service, Brother Vine kind of made me look like I didn't answer the question. Like I told you, some people can ask a question and then they won't answer your question. They'll take your question, turn your question into their question, answer their own question, and make it look like they answered your question, when really that wasn't the question. And I picked that up a long time. And like I said, I've been in this way of life a long time. I understand a lot. I understand a lot, and I understand when someone's trying to be manipulative as well. So I've come to understand a great deal of information in the 30 years since I went through my spiritual awakening. So I was in at that time learning and growing from that point. Even I'm still growing today, but it's a lot I've come to know. So um, that happened at that time. But this sister said when Brother Ruzidik was sitting in the back, Yerusalem was sitting in the back and he answered the question. Then I started beating him. She said, Brother Juice, you beating Brother Book back there. And I was like, man, I was shocked when I started really seeing how I started learning the scriptures, the Bible, the word, Genesis to Revelations at this time. Then after that is when the 17. Glad I remember. I can remember that now. Hopefully I can remember that. But that was number 17, the button of Aaron's rod. The reason why the tribe of Levi was the priestly tribe over the out of the 12 tribes. Numbers chapter 17. Some people know it, some people don't. But that was the question asked. I answered it, and then he made it look like that I didn't answer the question. So we get out after Sabbath school. Now this brother named Zephaniah, the brother Zephaniah, I remember this clear as day. I said, man, I answered that question. He said, no, you didn't answer the question. I said, yeah, you fooled too. I said, yeah. I just say you can see the ones whose eyes is open and the ones who's just following along with whatever somebody say. And I see that clear as day through people of today. I see it all through the internet. People can't see. I'm not saying that everything I'm saying is fact, but what I come to know, I can show you, and you can see it in the word, but people are still blind because one thing is they're following either man or they're following what they've been taught instead of looking at what the word actually say. That same thing is going on and applies today. So back to my story. So, like I said, now we're at the point where where like I said, Shebaniah, I think his name was Shebaniah, he done lied and said we trying to make our own temple. They call ourselves pulling us me, Cephas, Eric, and Shebaniah sitting there. He said, yeah, they want to have. I said, man, what you talking about? I wanted to jump on that dude. I wanted to fight him. Said he lied, directly, straight up lied on us. Right? I really wanted to fight him. But you know, I didn't realize the plan at the time, but it was just our time to get ready to go. So now um, I'm in the back. Now, like I said, now this is after the situation. Now that happened first. Now comes the time I'm asking the question about the calendar. And the lady leave that me and Cephas invited to come. And then he's coming. Man, you ask these stupid questions, and when I don't know, man, I snapped, went up, and I was going off, right? Now he said, Mike, and that to me, it looked like the brother right there, boy, they don't know, they don't know. I'll fight. I grew up fighting, and I don't mean one or two people. I fight groups. You know what I'm saying? I just fight groups of people. If anybody out there know me from when I was growing up, they know. You know what I'm saying? And not just here in Detroit, but just saying in general. Um, always held my own. So I ended up leaving. Now he's not answering any questions for me no more. Or if he asks a question, I want to answer it. He's not calling my name no more. So now now Sabbath school is coming around, or what have you. I'm raising my hand. He ain't calling on me. I'm raising my hand like this. I'm like this. People looking, say he ain't calling on him. So people are beginning to see situations. See, when you a thumb is different from the other fingers. This is a part of him, but this is always different compared to the four fingers. Without that thumb, it's hard for your finger to really uh, navigate and work. And I was like a sore thumb that showed and shared and not making someone look bad, but bringing information out that people need to see, but not pointing the finger saying, "That's look at that." I ain't doing that, but I'm just showing, look at this and look at this. Look at this and look at this. Not trying to make nobody look bad, but just showing the difference. And that's what I would do, you know. And end up Willie, he ended up seeing me raise my hands. And man, that don't seem right, man. He's supposed to be a man of the credit, and he's not calling on him, man. He got his arm, he just got his arm raised. So End up, that's when me and Cephas, I don't remember too much more behind that, but me and Cephas and Willie end up leaving. And like I said, we was over Willie house until we went to the Shalom. We went to Shalom 3 weeks later. Now we there and we started learning more information. We start understanding uh, with Brother Herman Taylor, Brother Yosef, and Brother Yosef, and Brother Robinson. Brother Robinson. There was the three that was over there, and we came there, and then we just kind of fit right in. We were learning, picking up information, learning information, and also I think I shared with y'all the same thing I shared with Brother Sean Quinn, Sean on Facebook. This is what Brother Page ended up sharing with us about Emmanuel was the same one in chapter 8 of Isaiah 7 going into chapter 8, that's Isaiah's son, but the name was changed. And all it did is speed up the process. I think I shared that last week. So we found that out in our process of moving around. So we ended up going to Shalom and found out more information. And this is when they really wasn't into the New Testament. I didn't say really, they wasn't into the New Testament because Brother Elisha was really breaking down and saying that he was calling Jesus, the hippie on J. He wouldn't say Jesus, he'd say JC, the hippie on the stick. That they would call him. I'm like, man, that's kind of wild, but that what they would say. But we kind of got away, but not kind of, we had really gotten away from the New Testament because now we're learning more information. Now we're learning about Marcion. I have, now Brother Alicia shared that with me, Marcion, which I had information I've shared before. Now we're learning more about the Council of Nicaea. This is when I've come to learn about the Council of Nicaea. I think I shared this last week about them having all these gospels that they had to start the New Testament. They put them under a table, and then they said the next day, whatever end up on top of the table, we're going to use them to start off the New Testament. That's when the top of the table end up Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now I did the research on that myself, seen this. This is not what's told to me. I didn't research this, and I actually had it to the point where it was 400 bishops of the Council of Nicaea that Constantine had put together, and this and that. So the stuff I share, I'll tell you what I looked up. I found, I researched. I went to the library. I found a lot of information I'm telling you about. End up seeing in the library. This was before I left the house of Israel, but in the library, when me and my brother-in-law, we went and we saw when King Constantine was fighting Maximus, or they had a battle, and then King Constantine saw a flaming cross in the sky and said, by this sign thou shalt conquer. So the cross is the symbol of Christianity. So you put all this stuff together and start seeing, okay, man, I'm starting to understand certain things. This is your growth in knowledge and information. So as you start to grow in your knowledge and information, you start to see things differently than what we've been taught. So my growth, I'm still growing. Like I said, now we at Shalom. Learn a lot of information. This is where I first met my brother Malachi performing. I think he performed in Mississippi first. I met him, met this young lady, this young lady named Alonia. She was short. Alonia met brother Dr. Whitaker. Dr. Whitaker. He actually made a book called Medicine later on, but that was before he made the book. But Dr. Whitaker, Sister Kaya, which was another sister that we knew. We knew a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends. Me and we had a lot of friends, and we started traveling. We started doing a lot of different things, traveling and things like that. Going to Atlanta, going to Cincinnati, and doing like things like that, and just making friends everywhere we went. And at this time, "Keep It to Yourself" was my quote unquote hit single, and a lot of people got to know "Keep It to Yourself" through me performing that and dancing and performing that song. Malachi would perform, and other people. 12 Tribes had a beautiful in the in Alicia's camp, or I'm saying Alicia's camp, but out of Cincinnati, there was this group called 12 Tribes. And they had a beautiful CD at one time. Now I can remember that. I almost forgot about that. They had a beautiful CD, and this brother that no, he was more like a he would play the music, but he was more like what would you call him? The kind who don't like a Rasta. He was more like a Rasta. He looked more like a Rasta, even though he was with the Hebrew Israelite community, right? So it's just a lot that we were doing, and then what ended up happening after. So much that happened in between all that. It's a lot that happened. I actually shared, I think last week I may have shared as well. And it was 2003. I think Michael, Latasia was already born. It was November 2003. No, October of 2003. October of 2003 when we did Juice Takes the Floor. It was October 2003. Junior wasn't born until the following month. That was in November 2003. That's when he was born. But in October 2003, we did Juice Takes the Floor. And I actually have that in my post. I believe y'all can pull that up anywhere except for in Instagram. But Juice Takes the Floor the audio is in there. And at this time, I shared information about in 10 years, we could probably go find some land maybe in Africa or whatever, but we could save up money about this time. And you can hear the information about that I've shared this it's in the post. You should be able to pull them up. Facebook, YouTube, excuse me, or any of the other platforms that I'm in besides Instagram, because Instagram, I don't believe you can hit the link and it'll come up. But you can hear the information. But also in that same information, you can hear the disdain or the negativity in that conversation to kind of give you a little bit of understanding about instead of people really listening and understand where I'm coming from, how people are really against and mostly you can listen for yourself. You can hear for yourself, in the information, you know. So so much more that I don't even I can't remember. Me after that is at this time me and Tish was together with Juice Takes for me and Tish, which is she was pregnant with Junior, but we had Latasia already, which is my youngest daughter, and now it's coming to a point in time where we was traveling because, like I said, I don't know if I shared last week, but I can also share with you now. I was a correctional officer in Pearl, Mississippi. I would travel back and forth to Pearl, Mississippi. I was staying in Detroit, but Pearl was like the next city or county over from Jackson, and I would go there to work and hmm, Mm. Trying to see how this happened. We were starting to like go on like little trips, like every other weekend. Me and Tish and the children. I think it was before Mike or before Mike was born. But we was doing that, going on little trips and stuff. I'm trying to see what more that was going on that I can say and really talk about. Got other visions that I would like to share as well. I remember one when I think I shared about me floating across. The last face I seen was my sister Irene when I was floating across. I think I shared that already as well. Um, just others. It's like a lot I want to say, but it's just not there to say or how to really break it down. And I don't know how to go through it like if I was making a book or whatever, how it would all just start to unfold and come out. But this is just some of the things I just wanted to share at this point, but maybe at a later time. That's the reason why it's called The Life of Mikael, Question and Answers. Is there anything you wanted to share at this point in time, G1, about what I'm sharing or anything that I've shared so far?
You know what? I actually remember you kind of went over this part a little bit. I don't remember what part back in when, but like, yeah, you kind of went over a lot of the stuff that I heard you talk about. So yeah, it was.
Okay, okay. So
Uh,
if that's the case, that was some of the things that happened before me leaving. I just know that now it's come to the point where me and Tish is getting ready to separate because we used to have like a lot of house party. I ain't even tell you too much about Nathan. Nate was another brother that was with us, and me, Nate, brother Page used to have house gatherings. I don't say parties, but gatherings where we used to come play dominoes or cards or whatever. We used to all go over there, have like little get-togethers and stuff like that. I did it a few times as well. Um, you know, I'm just trying to remember as much as I can before I move on into going into Atlanta. But I remember having my place and um remember having a place, and just before I left, it's like a lot that's right there. Before I left, I had a place that I was staying at. Me and Tish, which is the children, Michael, my youngest children, mother was staying there together at one time, but she was trying to leave again. Was trying to leave again. Didn't know if she met somebody or not, but whatever happened, but she was trying to leave again. I told you about her, me letting her have the checks that was coming in, even though I didn't know what was coming in, didn't ever look at it, what have you. So she ended up separating. She stayed with her father. She was staying with her father, and I was staying at the house. Then, mm, then mm, she was staying with her father, and then I can't remember too much on that point. I can remember a lot, but I don't know how to put it. I was still working as a correctional officer, and think the car went whatever vehicle we had got messed up. So I'm traveling around, going back and forth to work, trying to get things together. Now I'm getting ready to move to Atlanta. I helped my cousin move first. I ended up helping him move, and then while I was there, I thought about moving that way. And, oh, I forgot to share with you about the situation that what happened as I was a correctional officer. Um, this is a certain situation that happened with me where I can say I got attacked, but you know, me and me and one of the prisoners, we was talking. I used to be trying to be cool to everybody, and I used to try to talk to everybody and give them understanding about certain things that's going on, like the mark of the beast. I used to always talk to them when I used to take them to eat. So I would talk to the prisoners. Another point, I would talk to the prisoners as I take them. They call it go feed. See, they talk like cattle. They say when we take them to feed. I just say when we take them to go eat. So when we take them to go eat, they will sit in there, and while they eating, I'll be just giving them information. Y'all need to check out these books. If you didn't know about uh, what's the main thing it's a book that we talk about. It's many of books I was sharing. Dang, I can't. I'm looking at the book right here and I can't think of it. It's one that everybody know. The Willie Lynch letter. That was one. I was telling them about the Willie Lynch letter. I was telling them about the mark of the beast and everything that's going on. So I will always talk to the prisoners, right? So there's one prisoner, I think he had an attitude because they were supposed to we were supposed to be telling them to get ready for bed, and one of them walk around. I had to actually yell. I said, "Man, go over there, have a seat, whatever." So I guess he had an attitude, and I didn't know. I was just telling him to go sit down because we supposed to keep order there. And so that I think the next day or two when I took him to feed or whatever. So he had attitude. So I said, "Man, come on out here, man, so I can talk to you in the hallway." So I'm trying to talk to him like a man, just talking to him. And the dude hauled off and punched me, right? And he stung me because when he hit me, I would actually had glasses on. He hit me, I went down. I remember going down. I caught myself after I hit my knee. And that's when the other guards had jumped him. But at this time, I had sprained my ankle. So at this time, I think this was around February. This was around February of 2003, because I moved in 2004. So this was February of 2003, and I ended up being on leave because I sprained my ankle. so I really couldn't work at this time, and they had me on. The doctor had me on leave. So now I'm off work, but I'm still getting paid. I think workman's comp. So um, what ended up happening is that now I'm off. Now I think my cousin was talking about moving to Atlanta, and in between that is when I had like conversations about me and my children's mother. And this one sister said, well, when I was telling her about the dream I had, she said, well, she from Compton. Well, the Compton women are like this. They're like this. She kind of explained the type of women that they are. Said, well, you're not this and that, but they just like this. So, but and then that skull crossbone that was still there when it paused, and that means like she was like poison. So it was because of the attitude and everything the way she was. So end up helping my cousin to move to Atlanta. While I was there, now I'm off work from February until June. Now in between February and June, I'm still on workman's comp, and living doing what I'm doing. But me and her, we didn't separate it. Me and the children's mother, we didn't separate it. So, like I said, I helped my cousin move, come back. I'm getting my stuff together. I had a whole lot of VH1s with a whole lot of copies of VH1 with um what was called it behind the scene, behind the music. Do I remember it? Behind the music or scenes behind the music, whatever. When they talk about all the different stars and stuff like of their life and stuff like that. Those I was recording a lot of those on the VH1 tapes, right? And I had those. That's a lot of stuff I had, and in between me helping them move, and then when I first helped them move, I went down to the Twin Towers downtown Atlanta and applied for a correctional job there. End up coming back, and I came back, was getting everything together, went back out there to Atlanta. I think I helped Butch and them move something else, or I came back the second time to secure my apartment, right? Because me and her had already separated. She had the children. Now she had the children, but the children would be with me, and then she would get them. So I went back out there to secure the apartment and to go check on because I got 2 weeks later after coming back, I ended up getting a job in I think it was Alto, Georgia, but it was way out. And my car got messed up. My car with all that, but it ended up messing up. And I remember I had like a Trans Am, a red Trans Am, I think it was. My brother Shalim had sold me. He was selling cars at the time. So, but he was selling cars at the time, so I ended up getting that. But I was running. It was a used car, so it wasn't new. But yeah, still, um, I was running that baby. I was going back and forth to Atlanta. They had to go to Alto, Georgia, and that was way out. I said, I can't come out here to work. So I didn't get that job, but I had already secured uh, the um, the apartment. So now I'm back. I come back to Mississippi. My house men broke in. Somebody broke in, came in through my side window, went in, took a lot of my stuff. So I just got all my stuff ready, packed it up, and I made my move to Atlanta the last time. So that was the beginning, and they was supposed to be ready for me June 1st, 2004. I get back there on the first, the apartment wasn't ready. That's when I met my brother Gabriel. Excuse me, my brother Gabriel, out of Atlanta. Stayed at his house the first night, had all my stuff in my car on the two-wheeler, and all my stuff in the U-Haul. Stayed with Gabriel the first night there. I got to meet people when I was coming back and forth, but stayed with him the first night. Next day, I moved into my apartment, and it was not too far from my cousin Butch and his wife and family in Norcross, and I was there. So now I'm there, and was there for a few months and end up being there, end up being feeling sorry for a brother named Daniel, right? Now he was standing in the basement of his girl house, of his woman's house, not his woman, his ex-woman, but he was in the basement and he was next door to my cousin. And we got, me, I'm always trying to help people. And I come to find this out later on as well in my journey. You don't help everybody because you never know who the creator is whooping. You never know who the creator is doing what he's doing when somebody's going through something. You'll never know. So sometimes people may be going through something. I'm just sharing this with you just for face value because I end up going through, I end up getting caught up and I got a good whooping behind it. The reason I'm saying that is because I had let him move in with me, not knowing his background. He seemed like a cool brother. He had been to prison or just got out of prison or whatever. But me trying to help people, he moved in with me. He was with me for a few weeks. He was with me for a few months. But I had the bedroom. He stayed in the front room. Um, Not knowing this. See, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you try to help people. People have habits, and I'm not saying. I was living up the creator still. I was still keeping me trying to help people and not realizing how people are. Sometimes you can bring people into your life and they can bring their situations with them or their spirits with them, and they can mm, um, become or disrupt your life. I'll put it like that. So what ended up happening, long story short, on that is this. Let the brother stay with me. Me and him, we was cool and everything. Now, but he smoked weed. I had stopped smoking. Well, I didn't hit the joint with him, and then he got some friends coming by. Hit the joint with him and some friends a few times. Got every time I got put like the long story short, I got it. Every time I get a job, good job, end up losing the job. Get got another job, lose a job. I put in a security downtown Atlanta, lost that job. I'm like, man, not realizing what I was going through, not realizing it, and didn't realize by helping this brother, that he's bringing in certain people that are friends of his. Now they are beginning to spend the night and stuff like this. This is what I mean by you can bring something in, and then they're bringing their, I wouldn't say drama, but their friends or whatever, and that energy and that company is not good company. See what I'm saying? And that company and stuff like that end up coming into your atmosphere, and this is where your atmosphere started to get tainted. Like I said, I had stopped smoking, and I hit a joint a couple of times, just hanging with them, whatever, what have you, you know. And found out that they sniff. Some, I never did it, just let you know. But and I found out they did that. So it was just things that was coming in that I didn't understand. End up um I end up losing that place, or I moved out. I moved out, or I lost the place because of number one is if I'm not working, and I've always been the man to keep my. A matter of fact, the brother in Mississippi, when I moved in there, he said, "Man, you can always come back. I take care of my bills. I take care of my business and my situation. I'm always on top of that. So, uh, but if you ain't working, you can't pay your bills. So I think first I was getting ready to work for U-Haul when I first got back. I did work for them for a moment over there off of what was the Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Jimmy Carter Boulevard near not too far from I think that's 85 or 285. 85 or 285 Jimmy Carter Boulevard. I was there first and then I ended up being transferred near downtown. I think I was staying down that way as well at the time. I was down there off of 20. It was 20, but what's the name of that? It wasn't Peachtree, but it was in the further down, going towards West End. It was one off the side street over there. I can't even think of the street name right now. But yeah, I think Peachtree turned into another street. You right down there, and I was actually the man over that U-Haul. You know, I was making sure all the oil and everything was changed and keeping the trucks cleaned out. And then it ended up being me being the only one there. Everybody else, I don't know if they were taking days off or whatever, but I ended up being the only one there. And all these trucks come in, and then dude, he inside, and he wants me to just I'm trying to make sure everything's together, and I'm the only one there doing the work. And I snapped on him. I snapped. I said, man, you want me to do all this? And I'm trying to keep these things together. I snapped on him. I quit. I just left. I said, man, I tell you what, you do it. Had me out there doing all that. I said, I tell you what, you do. I quit on him. Right? Yeah, I did. It was cool, but people act like they don't want to understand what you're going through. You the only one doing the work. And when like I said, when I do something, I put my best in everything I do. I remember that. And many other things that happened beyond that point as well. Now, at this time, that was in 2004. Now, this was when I first got this around 2004. Now, I remember being down in off Peachtree, and I was at a pizza place, right? And this is where I met my boy Mitch. Me and him got real tight. Me and him, we met at a pizza place. We met for the first time at this place. Then we just hooked up. What's up, bro? Whatever, whatever. And we just kind of just vibe, right? So we switched numbers. We switched numbers and we connected. And we talked about the scripture because he used to go to um what's the name? Benjamin them camp. He used to go to Benjamin, he used to be in Benjamin them camp, right? Um, he used to be with them. Oh man, there was a reason why. Oh man, it's something. It's the reason why I made my transition was because me, Shalene, and brother. Uh, I forgot that it was an elder. Me, Shalene, and the elder. This is before me heading to Atlanta, but this is when I was separated from Tish, which is my youngest children's mother. But we was talking about trying to grow food. Oh man, like I said, stuff is coming back. We was talking about growing food so we can transfer food from Mississippi to Atlanta for for the Soul Veg restaurant, right? Now I was the liaison to go back. I was the mouthpiece, right? Because I was traveling back and forth at this time. So I went to Atlanta and me, Tish, and this time me and Tish were together. Me, Tish, and I don't think was Mike born at this time. Yeah, I think we had Junior at this time. Yeah, we had Junior at this time. He was born, and we ended up going to Atlanta. And I remember I was supposed to be getting hooked up because there was this other brother at this time. This other brother that I knew, he was in Yazoo. He was in Yazoo, I think it was Yazoo, Mississippi. And I was hanging out with them, and he knew Ben Ami and them camp. He's supposed to be in like a connection with Ben Ami. If y'all know Ben Ami and the Kingdom of Yah, Kingdom of KOY, Kingdom of Yah. So he's supposed to be connected with them. He said, man, oh, they're gonna take care of you, man. You go to Mississippi and go to Atlanta, they're gonna take care of you, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Right. Me and I told you I was already traveling at this time. Now at this time, uh, I think me and her was still together, and I don't think I was working at this time. Or at this time, we was doing traveling. I was still working, but me and her hadn't separated at this time. So we hadn't separated because we was going back and forth. So I was traveling, doing certain things. So we made a trip to Atlanta, and I was going to be the one who speak for I was going to be the one who speak for us making the trip and trying to connect with Kingdom of Yah or Soul Veg to connect with them so we can start doing the situation with the food. What I'm getting ready to do though, I'm gonna start back on this in a few moments because this part right here is coming up, and then I'm gonna jump back from this point, then go back to the point of me moving that way. So we're gonna be right back with part two of me making the transition. Now I see the connection of how I started to get before leaving and getting to Atlanta. So we're gonna start back there in a few minutes. Other than that, I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be, waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwells, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. And we'll be right back with part 12. This is be back for part two, which would be part 12. We're in the life of Mikael, question and answer 11 and 12. We're at the end of 11, part one, and we'll be in part two in a few moments, and we'll be right back. Other than that, I thank you for your time, your patience, and listening there, and your seeing now on Zoom. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. Greetings, everyone. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy, with part two, which is actually part 12 of Life of Mikael, Question and Answers, part 11 and 12. This is part two, which is part 12 at this time. And I was just sharing information at the end of part one about me leaving, the connection for me leaving from Atlanta, from the Mississippi to Atlanta. And I was sharing that as I was sharing, a few moments ago, is that at this time I had a incident that happened at Yep, incident happened at this is around February. No, February is when we separated. This is around January. This is around January of I think this is the time we went to Atlanta. My children's mother, my children's mother, which is Junior and my youngest oldest my youngest daughter and my and Mikael. Ended up going to Atlanta from Mississippi just to visit, and I was sharing how now Eliyahu, was it Eliyahu? Eliyahu, Eliyahu. Was that the brother name who was in Yazoo? I think his name was Eliyahu. I can't remember if that was his name or not. But that's the name that's coming to me right now. So Eliyahu is the brother, I think, who I was visiting that was connected with Kingdom of Yah, KOY, out of Atlanta, Georgia. And but brother Shalene and Yates, his brother name was Yates. There you go. Brother Yates, he was an elder. And they was growing food. Now we was talking about making a connection with Kingdom of Yah, which is the Soul Veg in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was going to travel. Well, I actually went there to connect with them about transferring food because we was going to be growing food in Mississippi, and we was going to talk about transferring it to KOY, which is the Kingdom of Yah, which is Soul Veg in Atlanta, Georgia, right down in the West End area. So as I was saying that I was already taking trips because I was work at this time I was working for the I was a correctional officer. I worked from July of June, July I started in July of 2002, and I guess I actually cut it all off in June of 2003, June 2003. That's when I actually moved. No, 2004, 2003 of July is when I started, and June of 2004 is when I made it to Atlanta. My move, my actual move was June of 2004. That was my move. I remember that. But I was with the correctional officer, been in correctional service or officer for a year, from July to June. And But between that time, or should I say, I started working, and then at certain point I started traveling. Me and the children's mother started to travel, So, but now before that, I was letting her have the quote unquote checks coming for the children. I knew nothing about. I was taking care of the bills and everything. I let her have the checks. It is what it is. I took care of the bills, let her have the checks, and still gave her an allowance from what I did because I had money that I was putting up from the job that I was doing. I knew how to take care of money. So, like I said, now at this point in time, I think we had went to Meridian one time on a trip. I took her to Meridian. I took her to two or three trips. Me, Cephas, that's right, me, Cephas, and some friends. I put it like that. Her, and Cephas. We ended up going to Memphis one time on a trip just to travel. I remember that. Then, like I said, this other time, I ended up going to. We actually went to Atlanta. Now, in the time of going to Atlanta, this is when Shalene was telling me about that they understand, having more than one wife. Uh, at at uh at Kingdom at KOY, Kingdom of Yah, right? They understood that, right? Now we was just talking about, but we already knew that this was the lifestyle that we lived anyway. But we knew of it. We hadn't really walked into it as of yet. Just saying. We knew of it. That's our lifestyle. But everybody's still growing. But we weren't trying to move into that. Just saying we knew about it. But my purpose was going out there was to go out there and Eliyahu was, I believe his name was the brother named Eliyahu. I think in Yazoo. It was either Yazoo or oh man, I cannot think of the other. It was either towards Yazoo or toward the other. Well, I forgot exactly, but it wasn't actually in Jackson, Mississippi. I forgot exactly the area now. I forgot which way we went at this time. But the point is that I would go out there and visit them. What's the name of this other place going west? Not Yazoo, but it's another one. Uh, I can't think, y'all. I can't think right now. But the point I'm getting at is that we used to go out there and talk about, have like quote unquote services. Now I'm moved from Shalom and I'm going out here checking out these brothers out here. And like I said, me, Shalem, and Brother Yates, we was talking about trying to transfer food, right? Growing food to transfer so they can have fresh food at the restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia. So now, brother, I think it's Eliyahu. I'm just going to go with what I remember, what I think. So the brother said, well, they're going to take care of you out there. They're going to do this, man. They do this, and they're going to treat you this and this and that. We get out there, and it was like, cut off. I'm just being straight up. And it wasn't that, but I was thankful that my children's mother had a sister out there. She was doing her own business. She was taking care of children, of doing whatever it was. She had a couple of houses out there. They was doing pretty good. Her and her husband. Uh, I'm just gonna say that much. Tisha's sisters out there. We went out, so we ended up staying with her. So I ended up going back and still trying to negotiate and talk with them. Now the brother that was there, um, I knew the brother. Well, I ain't know him at the time, but we got to know each other as I moved there after I moved out there. But it was the way that the attitude was, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm straight up with what it is, and I'm not gonna try to put nobody down, nothing like that. But it was just the excuse me, the arrogance of the attitude in a sense. So he ended up getting him to talk to Shalene. So it was like me being the middleman or me the one trying to connect everything up. He talked to Slim. It's like I was kind of like pushed out the way in a sense. Not saying that that's anything happened beyond that, but that was the attitude and the way that the dude carried himself. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was the one that was out there trying to make the connection, because we always working together. So that gave me my idea of that and the certain ones who was dealing with certain things. Because everybody, you know, I look at it like this. Ben-Ami may have not been the type of person who want people to worship him, but people was worshiping him. You might as well say Ben-Ami. A lot of y'all know who Ben-Ami is, who was over in Damona, Africa, right? So he has established a lot of things over here in America as well as over there. So, not talking about Ben-Ami, but the ones up under him, and not just not them, but other people is what I'm saying. Outside of that, they will worship the person who you are because, and they're not supposed to. No different than people doing Jesus and Yahshua today. No different. Same thing. But only thing I'm saying is that at the time, I'm there sharing information, kind of build, end up seeing the attitude about some people, and I'm like I say, I've been through 2 or 3 different walks to understand how people are. So I'm my own man. I've come to understand knowledge, information, and character. I understand people's character. So by me understanding people's character, I'm starting to seeing things the way people act, the way they carry themselves, and how they are. So by me understanding how people are, I'm saying, okay, I can see the character of certain people. So I only go so far with a person's character. So if I see a person's character and see how they are, if they're cool, fine. If they're not, I stay standoffish. So I was standoffish, but I was cool with everybody, but I wasn't joining their organization. So I would come around. No, now this at this time, what happened was now I'm back and forth. I came to Atlanta, I think maybe twice on that situation. And then end up going back. And then me and my children's mother separated. This is when we separated, me and Tish separated. So now that we separated, now um, we didn't separate it. I go through a certain situation at the correctional place, a situation, right? So this was in February. Now what comes around is in February, me and my children's mother separated in February. And I think in February was the same time when I went, it was either January or February when I went to the situation, or was it March? March, April. It was in March when I believe it was in March when the situation happened when I had to leave the correctional officer, the correctional place because I twisted my ankle after the guy hit me. I had glasses on. He hit me, and I remember he like stunned me because he did it, and I didn't realize that. I just shared that with you in part one. He stunned me, and I went down. Next thing I know, the guards they was on him. I was like, man. So after that, I had to take leave because my ankle was messed up. My eye, he hit me in the glass. He broke my glass. He hit me in the eye. Me not knowing what was going on. So, um, end up happening. So now I'm on leave. I'm getting workman's comp, and now my cousin, I'm dealing with them. Me and her are separated, and this is when a sister, hey Neil, how you doing? Now, this is when a sister that Butch knew, my cousin Butch, and we can get to this part. My cousin Butch, he knew this sister. Well, me and her was a good friend of hers. She was out of LA. And I was talking about, as I shared with y'all last week, about the skull crossbone that I had a vision of, and 3 blurry names came up. It paused. Then another name came up, and then the prophetess told me 3 bad things gonna happen, and then something good is gonna happen, right? So the 3 bad things happened with my uncle, then my stepfather's uncle. Yes, baby. Oh, we're talking about Junior. Uh, First my uncle passed, then my step uncle passed, then a friend of mine in Detroit, um, his brother passed. I told you that last week. Then now I'm waiting for the good thing to happen. Mom said that she had the vision that she had was my youngest children's mother. But I said, no, because when she told me the vision, she said the woman that she saw, she couldn't see her face, but she was tall, slim, long hair, and light skinned. Junior mother, my youngest children's mother had long hair, light skinned. You can say light skinned, but she wasn't tall and she wasn't slim. She was medium. So I'm like, no, but yet still I took her word because she couldn't see her face. End up me and her got together, and that's what happened up to that point. But now long story short, to where we at now, by me getting ready to go to Atlanta. This is when Butch's friend, which was a female friend of his, which told me that she was from Compton, so she's this type of person. And I'm like, man, so in a sense, to me, she was poisoned because the skull crossbone was still there. So she was supposed to be in my life for as far as I can think I can understand for the way things happen and the way she got pregnant. I shared that last week as well, you know. So, but other than that, um, now Butch is getting ready to move to Atlanta. I help him move. Then while I'm there, end up getting now this is in between me. I'm on, I wouldn't say furlough, that's what they call it, I guess, but I'm getting workman's comp. I'm off work and now, and because I'm hurt, and I got hurt for on the job stuff, whatever. So now I'm helping him move. I end up going down there and I end up applying for a correctional officer in Atlanta, Georgia. End up applying there. They send me, I end up coming back to Detroit. 2 weeks later, they give me, I end up getting an acceptance letter for a job. I go back out there now. I go back out there to visit with Butch and them and tell them about now I'm securing an apartment. And I go, and like I said, the place they wanted me to go was Alto, Georgia. It was so far out. I was like, man, it was hours away. I said, no, I couldn't do that. Came back, already secured the apartment. So I come back home. I'm getting ready and get everything together. Now, I think when I came home this time, a lot of my stuff had got stolen. So I get everything together. Now I'm making my move to go back out there in June, because June 1st is when I made my appointment to move into the place that I was going to move into. Get out there, um, make it back, make it back to Atlanta. Now, well, I made it back home. A lot of my stuff had got stolen. I took what I took, went to um, went to Atlanta, left Tish and them at the house. She was staying with her father at the time. So now I'm in Atlanta. I done moved out there, and like I said, I had my own apartment. I ended up letting this brother move in with me, named Daniel. Just shared that in part one as well. Now I let him move in, not even know who he was, staying next door to my cousin. And I seen him a couple of times. I came out there, hey, how you doing? Thought it was cool, what have you. Not knowing who you know. If you don't really know nobody, you're gonna be bringing trouble behind. You got to get to know people no different than you got to get to know the woman that you're learning. So a lot of this came in my learning, in my growth. A lot of this came in my learning, in my growth, and a lot of times we go through things to share with people so they can learn things as well before they get to where they're going in life as well. So there's a lot of things I've come to learn in my growth to where I am today. So, like I said, after I got there, I end up I'm pretty cool with everybody. So when I turned in my truck, end up talking to them about getting a job, end up getting a job at U-Haul, not too far from where I was staying at. Got a job with them for a minute. End up leaving there. I think I end up leaving. I was there for a minute, and when I end up moving toward downtown Atlanta, then I end up transferring my job over there, and that's where I was near Peachtree, between Atlanta and West End. There was a if you go straight down, it's a U-Haul there. I was working there, and I was just sharing with you what happened there not too long ago. That it got to the point where I was the only one working out there, and when I say I was the only one, I'm taking care of all the trucks. I'm making sure everything pulled in. I'm making sure that everything filled up. I'm making sure that and dude was acting like I'm 10 people. And it got to the point I snapped on him. I'm still young though, but I snapped on him. I walked off the job. Walked off the job, went and did something else. Uh Wherever else I forgot what after that, because there's a few things I've done while I was out there. But now, like I said, one night I was out. I was out hanging out, and and I met this brother named Mitch, right? But before Mitch, and just to think about, I was staying with this brother named Obadiah. I ended up moving, and I ended up staying with Obadiah after I lost my place, what have you. I was moving around with different people, end up moving into his brother, the spot where Obadiah, he was an elder, in a spot in what was the name of that area? I can't think of the name of it. I was staying out there with this brother named Obadiah, right? He had rooms he was renting out, right? He had rooms he was renting out. So I ended up being in one of the rooms. He was a Hebrew Israelite brother. So I was staying with him for a nice little while. So I think I was over there for a little while, renting the room out over there. Um, um, but before then is when me and Mitch hooked up. Me and Mitch, we connected. We met at a pizza joint one day, and and like I said, we just vibe. And he was going to the KOY, which is Kingdom of Yah, which is they had like their own like little ballroom in the back where they used to have this I guess conferences and what have you. So he was going there with them. I had already, like I said, I came there, made my transition, and now I did tell y'all, I did tell you when I first got there, my boy Gabriel, I stayed the first night there with him after I moved there. They didn't have my apartment ready. I'm just jumping back because I said this in part one. So I'm just jumping back to bring it back forward. When I end up moving there, they didn't have my apartment ready. So I ended up staying with this brother named Gabriel. One of the first brothers I really met that was a real brother to me, when I got out there. I had a lot of great brothers out in Atlanta. Friends, shall I say, a lot of great friends out in Atlanta. And he was one I stayed with the first night. The next day I went and they had my apartment ready. I moved in there. Then that's when Daniel ended up having Daniel come move in and trying to help him out. Messed up a few jobs being around, like I said, helping the brother out. End up going through certain situations, like I said, end up hitting some weed or whatever at a certain time, just bringing the wrong crowd, the wrong energy around you you'll end up falling under that energy or getting certain things did. And I end up losing some good jobs that I was supposed to have and not realizing it, but realizing it. But still, this is my learning experiences that I had to go through. And yeah, and I think that's when I think after that is when I was with the U-Haul spot. Then after leaving the U-Haul spot, um, just other situations going on. But in between that time, me and Mitch we got cool or whatever. Now Mitch was good when it come to herbs and stuff. When it come to herbs and spices and stuff like that, he was good when it comes to that. This was me. When I said it was my time to leave. See, as I said earlier. When I left the house of Israel and went to Shalom, it was like my graduation. And as I always share with people, sometimes it would seem like something bad happens in order for you to move to the next level. But that's not nothing that's bad. It's just something that's moving you from one area to the next area. We look at it as it's being bad, but it's not really being bad. It's you're going from one situation to the next situation because you're not, a lot of us, if we stayed on the job, we stay on that job forever. We'll stay there forever. But sometimes something has to happen in order for you to make the next move. Like I knew it was meant for me to go what I went through in that at the correctional place in order for me to move to Atlanta. That was meant to happen. And the way things and all my funds was taken care of, my everything was taken care of. Everything was taken care of. But moving Daniel in was a downfall for me. So, or either that was supposed to happen in order for me to go through what I went through from that point. Because I was, and when I say homeless, I wasn't homeless. I was in homes, but it wasn't my home for quite some time. So I'm gonna say it like that. But these are certain things and situations I had to go through to learn the things I've come to know today. So, and that's just like a long story short. So within all that, so like I said, me and Mitch, we got cool. Now this is still in 2004. Me and Mitch, we got cool or whatever, and we was hanging a lot. That was my boy. We was hanging a lot. He the one who actually introduced me to the machine that produced alkaline water. He introduced that to me. Now, in my process of still being in Atlanta, I would still travel like the sister named Kaya Israel. Um, she's a good friend of mine, and her parents went to Shalom as well. But she stayed in Atlanta at the time. She would travel back and forth to Atlanta. So me and her, we was cool. So we would travel back and forth. When I was staying in Atlanta, when she wanted to come back to Mississippi, I'd come back with her and I would come back with her and I'd see my family, my siblings. She'd stay with her siblings and then we'd just go back and forth, you know. Then it was certain Hebrew camps doing certain things. Me and her would travel together. And like I also said, my man, my boy, Whitaker, Scott Whitaker. He made a book called Medicines, and cool brother, you know. Knew him. A lot of us, and like I said, Malachi, the brother, he's out right now. He's making his debut, doing songs and stuff now. He's hot on Facebook. Malachi knew him for quite been knowing him since Shalom as well. So just a lot of people that I just started to get to know, and I was really getting to grow around the Hebrew Israelite camps that we knew at the time. So now, like I said, now me and Mitch, we get cool. We starting to go out, chill, go meet females and stuff like what wasn't I wasn't out there like that. Just still going out, chilling, meeting people and stuff like that, right? So he introduced me, like I said, he was good when it comes to information. He wanted to told me about neem oil. He told me a lot of the stuff when it comes to um natural path and stuff like that. He was good with that. I was good with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? So we would talk about certain situations like that. So when he brought the information to me about the alkaline water machine, I read up on it. So I was reading on it and reading on it and studying and studying and studying and end up finding out more things about alkalinity because I always remember my great grandmother, she passed with an amputated leg. She was going to dialysis. She was taking a table full of medicine. And it's one more thing. She had sugar. She had sugar. That's the reason why her leg got amputated. So those are the four things that I knew about my great grandmother, and I was always against medicine. So when I read up on the alkaline water machine, I said, I'm gonna get that machine one day. And this is in 2004, the beginning of 2005, the end around that time. And I said, I'm gonna get that machine one day, right? So, but yet still me and him, we hung. We like I said, me and him, we was real tight. He was like one of the person that me, like I said, like sometimes you have a friend. He was my best, one of my, might as well say my best friend, but one of my best friend when I was there. He was the first one I met, and me and him hung a lot, right? So, and to be truthful, we used to borrow like 300, $300 to $500 from each other. He asked me, I was shocked when he first asked me, man, you got 300 I can borrow? That kind of shot and call. I've never been with anybody that ever borrowed that much money from me. But he did, and he gave it back, and I would borrow from him if I needed it. And he's the first person that I ever borrowed, or we've ever borrowed that I know of. I've ever borrowed that much from, or who have been asked me for that much amount of money. So yeah, like I said, and we traveled. So like I said, me and Sister Kaya, we traveled to different Hebrew Israelite events. And a couple of them that we traveled to, I ended up seeing Brother Herman Taylor, and I was telling him about the alkaline water in the machine and stuff like that. We was in Jackson, Tennessee. I think what we was in Jackson, Tennessee. We went to a conference there. So that was just one. End up in 2007, I met this brother named Chris Graham. And at this time, I'm doing the what you call it legal shield or what have you. I'm doing legal shield, and I'm only trying to do something that's going to help somebody. It's going to better somebody because of the promise I told the creator back in '95. If you brought me to the truth, I put the truth in songs and writing and give it to the world. It's up to the world to accept it or reject it. So that's just some information I thought that would help people in. So the brother named Chris, I'm telling him, hey brother, man, this legal shield, this legal shield, that. And he just listened to me. He listened, he heard me out. He said, I made a diamond in legal shit. I said, really? He said, yeah. But have you heard about this alkaline water? Now, this is in 2007. You heard about this alkaline water? This alkaline water. Now, he's Jamaican. Alkaline water, it does this and that and this and that, whatever, whatever, whatever. He was telling me, and I was just listening to him, and it was like a light went off, said, bing. That's right. I read up on alkaline water 2 years ago. That was like in the beginning of 2005, I believe it was. But when he started talking about it, I said, okay, and then he took me to this van. He showed me the machine had water. So I started getting water from him until I was able to purchase the machine. So that was in 2007. And I ended up putting down funds on it. And I got it the day after my Earth Day in 2007. And I've been doing alkaline water since that time. So that's when I started the alkaline water because actually before then, me and my me and there was one brother named Michael who used to go to Shalom with us. He was in Atlanta and man, I almost forgot about the couple of apartments I had that people ooh, ooh boy, it's a whole lot there. But I'll probably say that for the movie or the story. But there's other places I've stayed, other people stayed with me and things like that. But this brother named Mike, I ended up moving with him after being in this inn. I was staying in a couple of those. One of them I was a manager, not a manager, but uh, um, a maintenance man in one of them. But long story short is that this brother named Mike, me and him, we used to travel going back to Mississippi and we take like about like gallons of water with us, right? Because of what we knew what it did. So I think we took about 15 to 25 gallons back, and I was dropping them off at different people's place. This was before I got the machine. So, and we ended up going to Shalom, back to Shalom. Now, at this time, Brother Herman Taylor, he was had like what you call them tanks with the breathing machine on it, right? So I ended up giving him a gallon, giving a few people gallons of water before coming back to Atlanta. By the time me and Mike made it back to Atlanta, this time it was me and this brother named Michael. We made it back to Atlanta. Brother Herman Taylor comes and said, Juice, 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 this water is good. I can breathe better. I can walk. I got energy. This water is great. We're gonna get the machine. We're gonna get the machine. I said, okay. I said, okay, cool, because I had just put in for my machine. I said, okay, then what I'm gonna do is as soon as I get my machine, I'm come down so I can sign you up so y'all get your machine, right? This machine came the day after my Earth Day, and that was like on a Monday or a Tuesday. And I said, okay, I got my machine. I'm gonna come down and come down there this week and by this weekend, and then I'm gonna sign you up so y'all can get your machine so you can get it. He said, okay, okay. I get back down there Friday night. So on the Sabbath, we used to have Sabbath, we have Sabbath service. But I ended up staying home today because I was tired. So we got there Friday night. I slept all day on the Sabbath. I called him after the Sabbath that evening. Called Brother Herman Taylor then. The Brother Herman Taylor, I called, I said, okay, you ready to sign for the machine? He said, we got a machine. It was like, and I didn't tell y'all this, but me and Mike traveled several times going back and forth. I went and gave them DVDs, information, water, all kind of information on the machine, what it does. And in the DVDs, one of his brother named, his name, Abihu. Abihu, he heard the word competition in one of the DVDs that I shared. So they just heard the word competition. So he ended up started looking it up and started finding other machines, cheaper machines. So this is how I found out how they got a less expensive machine. So when like I said, we had been traveling back and forth. Me and Mike had been traveling back and forth with water, giving water. Then when he first called me back, then when I came back, I was bringing them DVDs and giving them information and stuff like that. Because I was still going back visiting friends, even when me and Kaya was going back. I would still go visit at Shalom and what have me and friends and stuff in Mississippi. But when I made it back down there the other week, that weekend after my Earth Day, after getting the machine the day after my Earth Day, which was on the 8th of August. And I made it down there. And that next Sabbath, or the evening after the Sabbath, which is that night after the Sabbath day, I said, "Well, you ready for me to come down so you can go ahead and sign up for it?" He said, we got a machine." I was like, "What?" And that was like a big, you know how you got that big air you just swallow, like, "What?" You know, he said, "We got a machine. It's cheaper than the one you got. You might want to turn yours in and get one that we got." I said, "No, I know what machine I got. I ain't, because I did my research and I got the best of the best, which was the Kangen water machine. And I got the best machine on the market. I know people that was getting Jupiter machine that started turning their Jupiter machine back in for the Kangen water machine when I was in Atlanta. So I told him, I said, "I know what machine I got." He said, "Well, we got this machine and this," but I just felt let down. And like I said, my wife had even recognized, I'm just gonna say this much, the difference in the love when I went to Mississippi, when I started taking her around. I'm just gonna share this with you. The difference in the love and the friendship in Mississippi compared to when I went to Atlanta. You can see it night and day. So I'm just all I'm gonna say. You can see the difference in the love that I would get between the people in Mississippi compared to the people in Atlanta. She could see it clear as day. Didn't say too much about it, but hey, I already knew it. You don't have to do all this. Like I said, you can sit back and watch. But because people who are they are, people who because of people being who they are, you can't change people. You just have to just deal with people as they are. Me, that's how I am. So, like I said, my wife's seen it. But if you go to Juice Takes the Floor, you can hear it in my video. I mean, in my audio. You can hear it for yourself. But other than that, so now he said he got a machine. I just felt let down, right? But he told me I said, "What type of machine you got?" It was a three-syllable, three-letter machine. I don't know, it's Y2K or YKU or something. I don't remember what it was. But whatever. He said, "It's just like yours." I said, "No, it's not like the one I got," because I know mine was made with titanium plates. A lot of machines out here are made with plastic, are made with aluminum and other different type of material. I knew what my machine was made of, and I knew the quality of machine that my water made and that was made from. See, and this goes to show the difference between quantity and quality. And a lot of people are looking to go out the cheaper route, not understanding what they're getting. So, but long story short, um, 3 months later, situation happened. I'm gonna leave it at that. Just gonna say a situation happened 3 months later that wasn't good. And not only that, um, because I don't want to say what happened, but something happened 3 months later, and um, and something happened. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The people that understand that know me and know of the situation and know of our surroundings understand that. But after that happened, it was another sister that I met that had a place called Juice in near Edgewood, right off of Edgewood. I forget Edgewood. I forgot the cross street, but it's right on the next corner, right off Edgewood. She had a place called Juice Shop, right? The Juice is my performance name. So I remember talking to her. Her name was Chauncey. That's right. Her name is Chauncey. Hey, Chauncey, if you see me out here. But she had this place called Juice Shop, right? And me and her, we had a conversation. She said, "No, I don't want to do no alkaline water." I said, "What's wrong?" "No, the alkaline." Oh, and I had my shop in Little Five Points at this time as well. At this time, I started my shop in May of 2009. It's 2009. Yeah, I had March, April. Yeah, I think it was March of 2009. I started in Little Five Points. I had my own shop at this time. But before this, or around this time, I was telling this Chauncey about the alkaline water. She said, "No, this alkaline water. No, I know a guy that had a machine that, and they turned their insides upside down or something." I said, "What?" Say, yeah, touch the inside this and that. Now I've been knowing her for years. Now, and I mean, about 2 or 3 years went by, maybe if not a year or two went by, and so she would never drink it because of what she heard about what it did. So me and someone else was having a conversation in her shop one day. We were sitting up at the bar having a conversation, and this sister said, yeah, this person was drinking alkaline water and something happened. I said, well, let me ask you a question. What type of machine was that? I think it was me and Chauncey having a conversation. We always having a conversation. And it came out the same machine that Herman Taylor had got, the same exact machine, because I remember the name and how he said it. She said it was the exact same machine. I said, that's the problem. That machine, because everybody think all machines just because they make alkaline water is the same, but it's the quality of the machine that produces the water. No different than you can get, example, no different than you can get or neutral water out here or 7.0, and then you got a lot of people that's out here getting, make it at this example. You can get water and you can put drops in it, right? Or the drops make it alkaline. I don't trust that. I don't trust drops making it alkaline because whatever's in there is still in there to me. But it's a difference if it's being filtered and is ran, being filtered and cleansed, and then going through a process, compared to having some regular water and you put some drops in it and it's supposed to turn alkaline. That's just like people taking piss. Or they say, man, you can drink it. You can put this in here, or you can put this thing in here, and it's gonna. I don't trust that. That's me. I don't trust that. You'll put something in there to change it. I don't know if it's filtering it. I don't know what it's doing. It's just changing the color. I remember seeing someone doing this. They got some water from the faucet. Now this was on the YouTube, and I ain't seen it no more because it wasn't YouTube. It was on Instagram. It was one of the Instagram or Facebook or something like that. But I remember someone they got some water from the faucet, stuck it down. They had this little thing. They plugged it up and put this little cord in there, and then you started to see manure form in that water. I'm telling you what I know from what I saw. You seen manure or mess start to form in the faucet water that the guy plugged up and put this his thing in. He plugged it up and put the ends, whatever it was, he put in there, and within the it started to turn black. It started to turn back original to what it was. So a lot of the faucet water that people are drinking out of don't even know how contaminated it really is. What they're doing, they're putting chlorine and all the other kind of stuff in it to change the molecular structure in it when you really don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just like, man. So what I know what this machine do is a different compared to what I saw that situation. So that convinced me. So like I said, no different than that machine is different. And I don't know if it's made from plastic, if it's made from aluminum, or whatever that machine, whether Y2K, K2YK, whatever it is, KOY, I don't know what it is. It was that machine, that same one that Herman Taylor did, that happened, whatever happened to him. Same thing with what happened to this woman, that the friend that they knew. And when Chauncey told me that's the same machine that this guy had that turned his insides up, I said I keep telling people it's the quantity compared to the quality. The quality of the machine is what you should be getting. So I'm just telling you, thank you, baby. Thank you, sweetie. So the quality of the machine is what, and like when I told Brother Herman Taylor, he said, you ought to change. I said, no, I know what machine I got because I did my research, you know. So long story short on that, that is how I got into the alkaline water situation. So, and not only that, I felt the difference when I first got my gallon from Chris. I felt the difference. Matter of fact, I put it in the freezer and it froze. And when I drunk it cold, I felt the shock. It tell you you'll feel a shock through your body. And I felt the shock. And I also, ever since then, I really had never been constipated ever since. I never was constipated ever since I started drinking alkaline water. So I got that machine. I've been an advocate of the water ever since. So now this was in 2007, you know. Something happened before then. Now that's 2007. I got the machine. Now I end up meeting now. Oh man, there's other stuff that happened. Oh, let me go back. That jumped to the machine. That was in 2007. 2005 when Mitch brought the information to me. In between 7 and 5, which I just got into Atlanta in June of 2004. Now I'm making my way learning people, getting to know people and stuff like that. Um, in 2005, I was staying with Obadiah at the time, and my brother Cephas had a brother, right? Oh, I forgot another point. In 99, when I was in Mississippi, man, see, I told you I'd be going back and forth. In 99, when I was in Mississippi, Cephas had to go to Atlanta to take care of some business between him and his brother, right? He had to go to Atlanta. It was just before he got the job with the correctional officer. My brother C. Now me and him, me and Cephas was real tight. Me and Cephas was real tight. You know, he was like one of my best friends when I was in the Mississippi. But me and Cephas used to travel together. So we went to Atlanta for him to take care of some business with his brother that he had to take care of so he can get that job being the correctional officer, right? In 99. So what ended up happening was when we went there, we rode around. He took care of his business while we was out there. So we down at the little Five Points, not little five. We was in the 5 Point area at night before going back to Mississippi. I just felt this energy. I said, Fred, Cephas, I'm supposed to be here. I can feel it. It's the energy I felt that I'm supposed to be there in Atlanta. I just felt it. And some of you probably understand it's an energy, spiritual, or having it's an energy I felt. I knew I was supposed to be in Atlanta. Didn't know what reason why, but I knew I was supposed to be in Atlanta. That was in 99, right? So I had to jump back there to share that. And like I said, with that situation, to jump to where we are now, back up to me being there. Now I'm in Atlanta now in 2004, but that was in 2009 when I felt the energy that I needed to be in Atlanta. I just felt it within it was in my being. So I ended up moving to Atlanta. That was in 2004 when I ended up moving there. So what reason did I jump back to that for to share this point of view? Like I said, this story goes back and forth, and it's bringing a lot out that I've forgotten, and some that I remember, but a lot is coming out from this point. So between 2004 and 2007, I met Desiree in 2005. Oh yeah, that's what it was. The reason why I'm sharing that point is because while I was in Atlanta at this time, now I'm being a choreographer for Boo Boo Black, which is Cephas' brother. I'm being choreography for him, doing choreography for him because he has a record, like he's like producing music. And he had this song called "Bring That Chick to the Middle of the Floor." Bring that chick to the middle of the floor. Boom, 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 boom. And it was a tight routine I made up. Freaky, but tight. It was tight. But they said it sounded like boom, 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 with a pimp. I forgot. But they said it sounded. We had never even listened to the movie. Went to y'all know what I'm talking about. Something Hustler. I forgot the name. Hustle and Flow. Thank you, baby. Hustle and Flow was the name of the movie, but it was a song in there that sounded like his music that he made. And I made a tight routine, boy. That routine was something. And Boo Boo Black, what his name was at the time, brother Williams, Cephas' brother. um, he made the song say, "Hell yeah, let me tell you, I'm glad I'm at this point." That connected me to why I started back, not started back, how the spirit started me on the train. Start sharing information on the train. Because now it's 2005, 10 years after 95, after I went through my spiritual awakening. Now it's 10 years later. So I'm I'm making routine, man. He's in there practicing now. Now I didn't went from Brother Obadiah's out to catch the bus to, it's not the cab, but he was out there at West Perry or Perry West Perry Road Perry. He was out in Smyrna, out there in that area. So I had to catch the bus out there to do choreography for the bus and the train. You just get the train out, the train and then catch the bus out there, so I can do choreography for him and the dancers. And he was getting a song together. So one time I'm heading out there, and I'm sitting on Martyr on the train. And like I said, this is in 95 now. Now this is 2025, which is 30 years after my spiritual awakening, which was in 95, and this is 2025 now. But at this time, this is in 2005. And I'm catching the train. I'm heading to Boo Boo Black's house to do choreography, and he was still making the song as well. So now I'm on his patio. Nope, before the patio. I'm on the train, heading out there. Now I'm sitting down on the train and I'm heading out to his house. And me heading out there, the spirit was like, get up, talk to the people, get up and talk to them, get up. The spirit was in me, just tell me, get up and speak, get up and speak to the people on the train. So, first time. So I get up and I stand up between the doors and I said, greetings, everybody. How everybody doing? I remember this. Greetings, everybody. How's everybody doing today? You know, when the spirit says get up and speak, you do what the spirit say do, right? And I said, the spirit said told me to get up and speak, so I'm gonna speak, what I come to know. And I started speaking about the valley of dry bones. I said, do you ever get time, go to Ezekiel chapter 37, 1 through 14. It talks about the valley of dry bones. Then I start talking about we are those people. We are the dry bones in the valley. We don't know our land, our language, our heritage, nor our culture. I said, that's talking about us as a people. And I mainly just start sharing that point of view. I said, if you read 1 through 14, you'll understand that this is a metaphor of us coming together and we're awakening in this day and time. So I remember speaking about that. And I got done, and a woman asked me to come and sit down by her. What happened? I went down, sat down, me and her. We chatted a little bit. And from that point on, I would get up and because I remember I made the promise, if you brought me to the truth, I put in songs right and give to the world. Excuse me. It's up to the world to accept it or reject it. So now I'm talking, every time I get on train, I'm speaking about some type of knowledge. I'll start off with that first. Then I start gaining more information about the no national ID card. I would share about that information, about the national ID card they're coming out with, which is what we have today with the star on it, which is and a lot of these ID cards that we have today. Um, all kinds of stuff I used to start coming out with. I would talk about on the train, share information about. It got to the point where I would be on there and I was sharing that. Start sharing about the information about the alkaline water, about different things. And then people would sometimes people would listen, sometimes people would laugh, sometimes people would talk, sometimes people just shun or what have you. And at one time I was like feeling kind of sad because people was laughing and paying me no attention. And I was feeling kind of bad, and I remember, not remember, and what came to me was when I was feeling this way, the spirit said, you said, because I was really like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Then the spirit said, you said if I brought you to the truth, you would put the truth in songs and writing and give it to the world. It's up to the world to accept it or reject it. I said that in Germany. When that came back to me, that I wasn't worried. Right then, let me know. Long as I'm doing my job, long as I put it out there, it's up to you to get it. I done did my job. So if I share the information and you accept it, fine. If you don't, that's on you. So that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today. That's why I'm online. That's why I share what I come to know. And what I come to know, like I say, what I share, I know I stand on because I know until a person can prove me wrong, I stand on what I know. You have to be able to prove me wrong. I'm not just gonna sit up and take your advice just because you're saying something. Like some brothers want to talk to me about last week. So that's the reason why I'm sharing my story right now. So when I get a chance to really make it like I really would like to, it's a lot I got to share. But this is just some of the things just to keep me re-informed on some of the things that I may forget. So that happened in 2005, when the spirit told me to get up. So as I was being, and from that point on, I would always get on and I would share information on the train or on the bus at that time. Then I came to the point of the alkaline water, and then I would share the information about just stuff going on today and also about the alkaline water. And I would get out there, and this is in 2007. But before then, trying to make sure I get before I hit that. Because that's when I got the water, started sharing more about the water. But before about the water, before between 2005, after I got to Atlanta, and 2007, I started when I started doing the water. Like I said, I would do another thing. I got into Legal Shield, started sharing other information. Meeting a lot of people, met a lot of people. You making a lot of friends and stuff. I make friends everywhere I go, you would say. Um, but just a lot of information I've come to kind of understand, get to know, and grow in. And I was growing all this time. All this time, I'm growing in knowledge, I'm growing in information, and I'm learning things as I go. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But the whole point is every day and everything we do is a learning information or a learning situation for us throughout life. So this is what else happened between 95 and 90, I mean 2005, 2007. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of right now. I'm just trying to sort, but I might end up coming back to certain things as well. So who knows? So like I say, now in 2007, I met Chris, got the machine, went through my situation of sharing information on that. Was going back and forth to Mississippi, sharing information about the alkaline water. When I came, when my mother and them tried it, my mother and my brother, my sibling and them tried it. My mother said, "Whoa, it's changed, and it changed my urine. My urine is clear." Everybody tried it except for my stepfather. My stepfather would never try the water, never tried it, never would drink it. Don't know why. Probably because of me. I don't know, but he would never drink it. Right? That was in the whole time, up until 2019. He still would never drink it until he didn't know he was drinking it, and it still helped him out. But so now 2007. I'm an advocate for alkaline water out there in the streets, on the trains, and I ain't had no labels at first. I'm out there doing the pH test in the streets, on the train, on the bus, just out there, just showing and doing pH tests, selling the water with no labels, right? Um, Here we go. Come the time now. Now, my junior, Junior was still he was still small at this time, so it wasn't around 2007. This was 2003, 2004, 2005. When I 2005, Junior was young. He was born in 2003. We were still together for a little while. He was born in November. We were together for a little while. I ended up leaving in 2004. Um, because she had the children. She was getting the checks, or what have you. It came a point in time because I had the vehicle still. The vehicle was going in, and I had electrical problems. And I had no way to get back because a certain situation happened. There you go. A certain situation happened where, yeah, this was before. A certain situation happened where Junior had bites all over his body. Now a certain situation happened, and not knowing who I was with, like I said, you got to get to know who you with. Not knowing the type of person I was with, that Brother Page introduced me to, which was his daughter. And I showed y'all what happened between that time. Um, Brother Page, I believe, her father, because he one who always let me know certain things that was happening. He's the one who called me and said they're going to put your children uh in and something happened to the point where he got bite marks to the white meat on his stomach and on his back. Junior did, right? My son. Now he wasn't a baby, so he was around about maybe one, maybe two-ish. So this is around 2005, 2000. He was born in 2003. This is around 2004. 2004, I had left. He was born in November. 2004, I had left June. 2005, between 2005, 2006, was it? But that was around the time I also met Desiree. I'm trying to think, I don't remember exactly when it was, but my vehicle wasn't really working, but I tried to maintain it. But I tried to take it anyway because there's another singer that I knew. She said, well, I said, well, I talked to her. I had a lot of friends, what I'm saying. This was a female friend of mine. I wasn't messing around with nobody. Um, but she was a friend of mine and she was a singer. And I was telling her about my situation. My children is going through a certain situation. She said, well, I'll still try to drive it on out there. I didn't make it to Alabama. My sister and my brother had to come and he had to come with his trailer. My brother, he's a mechanic anyway. He had to come with his trailer. Wasn't a tow truck, but a trailer to put the car on. And we had to take me. We had to go, and I had to go to court to try to get my children. Um, I had to go to court to try to get my children. And at this time, I think they awarded my children to my mother. Excuse me, because I got there. I think I got there a day late, or that certain things had to happen right then and there. So they awarded the children to my mother because the mother, junior mother, she would go to work and have her oldest son, which was 5 years old, watch the children while she go to work, knowing that I wasn't nowhere around, didn't know it, didn't understand. So, I'm just telling you the truth. Her oldest son, Chris, 5 years old, she left him to babysit um, his three siblings. Now, the second oldest boy, um, is what I believe this is what happened. They said they had a puppy. They said, this is what was told to me. They said it was a puppy that bit Mike Jr. from his on his to the white meat. Now he got sores on him. I was mad, but y'all know how mad I was. I was angry. So, but when I got there, like I said, he was in the hospital. He had white chunks off of him to the white meat on the front and on his back, right? So in my mind, I already knew it. I think it was the his brother. This is my point of view. Nobody can prove it, but I know no puppy didn't do what I saw. It wasn't no puppy. It was bite marks from a human. And I believe it was his brother who been not the oldest one, the next one. It was four of them. It was Chris, he's the oldest, Jawan, Latasia, then Mike from Tish, from her. Um, Jawan is who I believe bit Mike to the white meat. This is my thoughts, and I'm looking at it, was teeth mark from a human. It wasn't from no baby, no puppy. So that's what they said. But he was in the hospital. I went to go see him. But that was after the court date and everything. So they awarded my two children. They awarded my two children with my mother. Now, Jawan, they awarded him to the father, to his father. Chris, I think she stayed. I think he stayed with her. No, I think Chris stayed with his grandfather, which was Brother Page, which is their all the children's grandfather, which was so that's how that happened at that point in time. So my two stayed with my mother at the time. Now I'm still out here. She got awarded the children now, right? My mother. Now it comes up to the time when I'm get the machine and um I get the machine and then I'm getting ready. I'm going to Cincinnati to meet with Shalem and the other brother that I shared with you that did the music for 12 Tribes with in Cincinnati. They actually planned for me. They got me a plane ticket to come out to Cincinnati. As soon as I touch in Cincinnati, my mother called me and told me we having court for the children coming up Monday. I'm just getting to Cincinnati and I didn't have the money to get out there. They paid me to come out there because we can ready to do business. Now, Shalene and the brother, I forgot his name. I forgot the brother's name. You know, there's a lot of things that happen in between that as well. That'll all come out later. But um, they had a trucking company kind of situation. They own a trucking company where trucks can pick up loads while they're on loads and carry stuff. And I forgot how it go, but that's what they would do. So they seen that the alkaline water and what it did and the stuff that I shared. So they wanted to start sharing the information. So the brother that knew the music with Shalene, he said, "Don't sell the machine, sell the water." I was like, huh? But the company programmed you to sell the machines. Don't sell the machine, sell the water. That was the brother saying, sell the water. I said, we're not supposed to sell the water. But the way I do my water, I change the molecular structure just by putting positive vibes into it. That's another story coming up in a few moments. Don't sell the machine, sell the water. If people want the machine, you can sell the machine, but sell the water. The water is, and then, which made a lot of sense, which made a lot of sense. So, but I will always be advocate because my main thing is just helping people. When I seen that when I knew that the alkaline water did for me, wasn't constipated, I felt different. While I was in Cincinnati, I remember one of the first testimonies that this elder, she was an older lady, she was sitting down, had a bottle of water, had a bottle of regular, or no, she had a bottle of regular water, and then she drank that down. Then we said, try the alkaline water. So she had bad acid reflux. So we filled that up. She sit down. They all having a conversation. I'm over at the sink with my machine and everything, sitting, standing up over there at the sink. Now we in at Cincinnati at this time, and they took me over just some people's house and shared information about the water and stuff, right? So we sitting up, we talking. She's having a conversation. So she happened to drink a little bit of water, and she's talking, and she burped, and then this is an elder lady. So she started talking again. She said, "Wait a minute." I didn't feel no acid reflux. This water is good. Then that was my first experience when it went with someone outside of Brother Herman Taylor and someone other than some people that I know that she was an elder. She tried the water, the acid reflux gone. So and now I'm being an advocate and I'm still now while I'm in Cincinnati, mom called me and told me we're gonna have court coming up Now this is in 2007. We having court coming up, and they need you there because the judge was already going to award the children to me. I had no way to get back there. I already knew because I took more, I'm just going to say, I took more time with the children when they was born, when they was going through their situations, feeding them through the tube. And I was there. I'm the one who found out about the checks and all this other stuff, Social Security, and didn't care nothing about it. I'm the one who found out all the information. But I couldn't get back because I didn't have the money. And it was like it was set up spiritually. It was set up for me to make the move to Cincinnati so I couldn't make it to Mississippi. I had no way to get there. She ended up getting awarded the children. And from that point on, she was on the move from that point on. I didn't see my children. I ain't seen Mikael. I know, no, nope, no, I can't say that because I think I don't know if it's 2007 or it was a couple of years later, 2009 or whenever it was. I remember she came to visit her sister in Atlanta, and I remember she left the children with me a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? And I was taking them to a school over in Norcross. No, it wasn't in Norcross. It was further up. It started with a C, I believe. I forgot where exactly where it was. I know where it's at, but I can't think of the name area of where it was. We just kept the train about maybe before we get to Norcross, about maybe one or two stops before Norcross, the last stop. One or two stops for the last stop before you get out to in Norcross. But the whole thing is that I was taking them to school out there, right? Um, until she ended up, I don't know what she was doing. I don't know where she was, what she was doing. I forgot all about it. But the children were with me for a minute. I was taking them to school. And then when she ended up being in Atlanta for a few minutes with her sister, and then she was always on the move. She was always on the move, which is the children. My two youngest children. She was always on the move, moving. I don't say running, but she was moving all the time. So that was at that time, from what I can remember, and it's just a lot that was going on in between that time. So I'm just putting together what I can remember between that time. And that is when, she had custody of the children at the time. Um, I was always cool, but it was just situations, boy, that I had to deal with. So now I'm still doing the water now, and I believe it was 2009 now that I can remember at this time. It's 2009. I end up getting into Little 5 Points at Four Corners of the Earth Marketplace. I was there. Now I'm there. I've always been doing the knowledgeable DVDs. I'm gaining all these different knowledgeable DVDs and information, and I'm just gaining information and sharing information. So now I got my shop. I'm selling alkaline water. I'm selling DVDs. I'm selling incense and a lot of different stuff at Four Corners of the Earth Marketplace in Little 5 Points, and my little setup there, and I got to know a lot of people. So now I'm set up there, and I still go around the city, you know, at this time. So this is me being set up at Little 5 Points now. Now I'm in Little 5 Points, and this was like March of 2009. I started there. And you know what? I'm going to end this here because there's a lot of other information I'm going to hear. And we right now, we are hour and 12 minutes here. So in Little 5 Points, when I started with L'Chaim, which the brother, he actually, the one that I told you that when I went to Cincinnati, he said, L'Chaim. He actually gave me the name. L'Chaim. L'Chaim means to life. I said, L'Chaim. He actually gave me the idea for the name of the water. L'chaim means to life, and choose life was the mission statement. So choose life. L'chaim means to life. So, which is Hebrew for to life. So I said, okay, bam. So end up, and we had another brother. At the time, he used to make labels. So at the time, I had labels. It was blue labels that we started. That I started off with. That he started with me. He made the blue labels. Said L'chaim and choose life. And I started off with them blue labels first. Those were the first labels I started with before upgrading to some of the labels that I have now. And then coming with the yeah, it's a lot of other stuff that's gonna come. It's coming after this. I'm really getting into the business point and everything else that happened since then. But I was always sharing the information on the train, back and forth, going back and forth on the train, sharing a lot of information. Um, but it's a lot more that's gonna come after this. I know I have to stop it right here because this is when I'm getting into just starting the business in my stationery place. You all right, baby? In my stationary area in Little Five Points. So now, is there any questions or anything behind that, G1? Just trying to remember. It's a lot that goes into that I'm missing, I know, but just mainly the main things that I'm trying to share at this point. Uncle Neil Lewis was watching for a minute. I'm glad you was there, Neil. Haven't seen you or talked to you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. Like G1 is good, then I'm go ahead and get ready to pause this until next week, and then next week can be part 13 and 14, where we can go in from Little Five Points when I moved over there, unless something else comes up that I haven't shared. But you know, other than that, I just got pretty well known around Atlanta, Georgia for doing the alkaline water and alkaline teas and with my dancing talent. I was always dancing as well. So, other than that, just wanted to share with you that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm the same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwell, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. Now, between the 2009 and 2007, I was actually, just hit me that I was learning a lot more information when it comes to Jordan Maxwell. A lot of information gained on DVDs from that point. Kaya was learning information with me when I was traveling back and forth, sharing information. Um, just a lot of information was coming out between that time, between 2007 and 2009, because I came back to Detroit. Just remember, I just thought about it. I came back in Detroit in 2005 for the second time, which was the first time was in 2000 was in 98 for the after the first death. The second time I came back was in 2005 when I came back to Detroit to visit. I seen my daughters at that time. Um, Daughters and some of the friends I used to dance with came back to Detroit at that time. It just hit me. It was 2005 at that time. Came back to Detroit then. Um, who? Throw this in real quick. At that time, and around the same time, because me and Mitch was tight, I was working I may have shared this last week, but I was working for this company and I was the manager over the rehab. I was rehabbing the warehouses for, is it Mill Wheels? It was a company out of Germany or something like that. But they would do cabinets and stuff like that. And appliances. And I was the manager over the warehouse. And I rehabbed the whole warehouse, put everything in place, put tags and everything on everything and put them all in their place. And I think I shared this last week about this dyke, this female one like a dude, and I think I shared that. I think I shared that though. I believe I shared that. But yeah, that was another point of view. That was between 2005 and 2009 as well. That happened at that time, But some other, like I said, it's a lot of other stuff that's going to end up coming up and coming out. And this is just for a reminder of me for at a later time for who knows when we bring on. Like this just came up. I don't want to forget everything, but it's good stuff that's coming that I can remember and put together in due time for maybe a book, a movie, or what have you. Other than that, again, I'm that Mikael in Daniel 12, Revelation 12. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get ready to pull ourselves out in Numbers chapter 6. Numbers chapter 6, verse 22 through 27. And this is the priestly's benediction. So we're going to go give it a call out for tonight for this. It's going to be last for tonight. And yeah, I think I just had to pull that back because, put that back in because of what I remember. It's just a lot of a long story, but it's something good for me to know, for my family, my quote unquote heritage. For me to come back on. Other than that, this is the priestly benediction, and we're going to say this is out of Numbers chapter 6, verse 22 through 27. It states, "And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yah bless thee and keep thee, and Yah make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. And they shall put Yah's name, which is his law, upon the children of Israel, and Yah will bless them." In your holy word and spirit we pray, as well as Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shekebo, Bakuto Violam, Va'ed, Hallelujah. Hear, O Israel, Yah, Father is one Father. Blessed be thy glorious kingdom forever and ever. Hallelujah. Praise you, Father. Bless you, Father. Thank you for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep us in every way, help us in every way, and allow us to follow in your glory in your way. Your holy word we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Praise you, Almighty. And for everybody else, if you'd like to get in contact with me, you can always call or text me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. And if you want to email me, you can always email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym@gmail.com. If you like to connect with me, or should I say, if you like to check out my YouTube or my um, X, formerly known as Twitter, you can catch me there at JuicePro33, which is JuicePro33 all together. And you can like, subscribe, and share with me there as well. That's JuicePro33 on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as my YouTube. You can like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget, that's the full version, which is from Zoom, is on YouTube under video. And my part 1 and part 2 is on YouTube under live. My live is part one and part two. My full version is under the video on YouTube, which you can like, subscribe, and share. And the full version is also, so I don't have to say it again twice. The full version is also under X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, if you also can check my information out, part one and part two on Instagram, which you can see my Instagram and my TikTok. My Instagram and my TikTok is L'chaim underscore the juice, which is LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. That's LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. And like I said, my part one and part two is under Instagram, but you can also check me out on TikTok, which is LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. And my other TikTok is Michael the Juice Harris, all together. MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. My Facebook is Mikael Harris, which is MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS, which is part one and part two. Again, is MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS. And for rumble.com/LKHYYM, excuse me, is a full version. Again, the full version is under rumble.com/LKHYYM and also on patreon.com/LKHYYM is the full version as well. Patreon.com/LKHYYM. Other than that, now my platforms that you like to catch me on, I'm on, which is the Zooms, and on other platforms, but that I just shared. But my Zooms is on Sundays at 9 p.m., which is Sunday after 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation. Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation, which is what we had tonight. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern time. On the night after Monday, which people call Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we have Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. That's Mikael's Knowledge of Truth on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Night after Monday. At 9 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget on Tuesdays evenings at 6 p.m. Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. we have Introductory to Sovereign Class of Knowledge. Introduction to Sovereign Class of Knowledge, meaning helping people get into the information of understanding their private office. To understanding your private office, getting into that position before you move into the next information beyond that. So that's on Tuesdays evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom only. That's private. It's not public, it's private on Zoom. All right. And also, last but not least, on the Sabbath, we're here at Assembly of the Righteous. It's the Assembly of the Righteous on the Sabbath at 12 noon, which is in the beginning of the evening, Eastern time, 12 noon Eastern time, which is Assembly of the Righteous. Other than that, I thank y'all for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and we'll see and talk to you soon and always. Peace. We'll say bye to Zoom first. Take it easy, G1. And for the family, peace.